All right, welcome all. So we're gonna get a Photoshop cover done up, yes? And so this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk through and just make sure that we're comfortable with what we need to do for our next major project, and get ourselves like 4 marks, right? As 4 marks of it is going to be for the setup overall. So I'm going to go into CAD class and just really quickly go over this with all of you. Now week 7, right? Have a look here. Watch the walkthrough on the major instructions sort of right here in this main module, okay? Amazing. So that'll just tell you exactly what we need to do. We're going to be looking at the instructions really closely in order to complete this together, regardless. Now, that being said, their walkthrough is also right there, and now it's live for you. And here is our PS5 instruction that we need to build from or start with. So what we're going to do is get this right here set up. Are we all set? It's pretty straightforward. We're going to have a 5-inch width by a 6-inch high document. Okay. I only require you to do the front cover in Photoshop. Okay. I will allow, though, we do have your spine width and everything it's there for you because you just completed it in Graphic Design Fundamentals, right? So that being said, if you choose to do the entire thing in Photoshop, meaning you want to do the front, spine, and back in Photoshop, I will allow that. Just be aware you're going to need to, of course, set up your spine and so on in Photoshop so you understand where everything will fall. And it's really important that that's done properly. If you want to do that, let me know and I can help you out with it, okay? That being said, what I need for this assignment, this first one is going to be the Photoshop front cover of this. So let's get into it. Now, as per the instructions, you'll notice I need a 300 DPI to begin with. It's going to be important. We always start at print ready art. Okay. Now, also, we have to set up with guides, don't we? Just like in Graphic Design Fundamentals. I want to have live area. I also want to have bleed to make sure that that's applied. Okay. Are we ready to rock and roll? It's really simple. And in Photoshop, we want to allocate for that bleed now because we're going to have it go from edge to edge in Photoshop. So it's no different than the Graphic Design Fundamentals class. We've been working with our imposition. We've been working with our live area, our bleed, and our trim. We need to live by that in Photoshop if we're going to have a cover in this case. Yes? Ready to rock and roll? Let's start. So, sorry, let me go here. And what am I doing here? Whoop, sorry. New, create new. Nice and easy. So we need to know, we have the title for this is right here as well. Right. So what's the name of this? Let's good that we figure that out first. The name is called right here. Right. So your name, Major Project 1, and this is called proof. Right. So let's go in and we can just get this named up accordingly. The other one is a screenshot, but this is the one that I'm really concerned with. Okay. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to command and paste, right? Or copy C, copy V. And I'm going to go here and put my name in. Good. Even your name, first name is, we're a first name basis. All right. Now we know that it's going to be 5 inches. Wait, make sure you're in inches first. 5 inches by 6. Look at that. It's already in there because we did our Photoshop or our Batman, right? 300 DPI, amazing. Pixels per inch, not centimeter. Okay. RGB, 8, white, and we're golden and good to go. And let's go ahead and hit create. Amazing. So there you go. This is in essence our ready to rock, right? We've got this. Now, there's this beauty thing here that I wanted to show all of you, and it's called new guide layout. Check this out. Isn't this wild? So in our new guide layout, it actually will allow us to go in and create a guide in Photoshop. This is next level. So cool that we can go in and literally use guides as a way of, if you want to, and let me get rid of my gutters, we can then utilize this for our, right? Do an 8 and let's do 10. Look at that beautiful guide. If you want to do a layout for something, everyone, and you happen to be working in Photoshop, how beautiful is that? We've got something we can really work from, right? Isn't that awesome? So that being said, for this, I'm going to just let's just do this. Do 2 and do 2 and see where we're at. Okay, how cool is that? So already we found center, right? Awesome. We've also got guides for our trim. So we know exactly where those lie, right? Now, notice we also have the ability to move a margin here. Isn't that cool? So our margin we know is 0.125. So I'm going to go in here and do 0.125, 0.125, 0.125, and 0.125. Now, already we've automatically set up our live area. So I know where my, my document or where that needs to be. Nice, yes? Isn't that cool? So that being said, I'm gonna leave it like this for a moment. And then what we can come back and do this, right? You can actually save this if you so choose, but at the end of the day, I don't know that that's necessary. I'm gonna, you could though save preset and do it up as, this would be a really tight eighth of an inch bleed on. We're gonna put our bleed on in a second. But for this, what I want to do now is hit OK. Okay. Nice. So remember that was in view and then that was in your new guide layout. Really cool. I love that feature. Okay. Now, so that gave us a 1/8 of an inch around. It also gave us centers, which is nice. What I'm going to do here is I am manually going to just go in here and bring in some more guides so that we can have our trim, because our trim is really important, isn't it? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and grab, and I'm going to go here. If you want to do this would be great. And I'm going to snap to, okay. And I'm going to do document bounds. See that? Snap is amazing. It does some great things, but it can get in your way. So just make sure that we don't accidentally turn it on and forget it. So document bounds, snap to, and I'm going to go here and snap. Awesome. And snap. And all I'm doing here now is I'm getting our trim built in, okay, as well. Now, I'm sure there may have been a way, I haven't investigated it just yet. I'm sure there's a way to use that layout to do up another column and just have it lay in for us, but I'm going to do it this way to show you that you can manually do it as well. All right, so there you have it. I grabbed my guides. All I did there was I made sure that I went around the perimeter, and now you'll notice I'm set with my guide. All right, so we have a guide here. That's hard. There we go. We have this guide here, which is our live area. And we have this guide here, which is our trim, where our crop marks will sit, that we're all familiar with. Sound good? So make sure that we're aware of this as we move forward. Okay. Now, what I wanted to note, this is a really important step. All we have to do now to get this really set up is know that we have a bleed that has to be applied to this. Yes? You ready to rock and roll? Let's do this together. We're going to go in, and I want you to go into image. All right. And I want you to go into canvas size. Awesome. Now we have our image canvas size. You'll notice it's 5x6. No worries there. We know that. Now, if you look at the instructions, you'll notice that we have an 1/8 of an inch to the right, and we have an 1/8 of an inch to the top and an 1/8 of an inch to the bottom. We do not have bleed on the left because that's where the spine is going to be attached, right? Front cover, spine, back cover, just like we did in GDF. It's going to match it, okay? Now, that being said, another thing we need to be aware of is I want you to go here, canvas size is on, so image canvas size. Move this directional arrow to be to the left. See that? Now what will happen is as I increase my canvas size, it will only grow from top, bottom, and right. It will stay put on the left, which is great because I don't have bleed as mentioned on the left side. Now, we know that on the width, we needed to add 0.125 because it's an 1/8 of an inch. So let's do that. 0.12, you might as well go 7 because it for some reason doesn't like 5. Now, what we're going to do here, height is an 1/8 plus an 1/8. So 0.25, a quarter, right? Fantastic. What I'd like you to notice is make sure you are on white, okay, here, okay, white. If you have that in a different color, it will change that up. So when you add it, it will go to the color that's called out here, okay? So go ahead and say, okay, bang. You're all set. You're ready to rock and roll, okay? So now what you can do is let's go in. We'll get this saved, of course, right? And you're going to go in, make sure that you get this saved in. Major projects, mini assignments, do a new folder, call it out as video game case, major project, right? I happen to have mine broken down into Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. You may want to do the same thing. It's totally up to you. But in general terms, right? Photoshop cover, working, and images to use. And then of course, right, you can do to client, from client, etc. Or you can do originals, working, and finals, however you want to get organized, but it's good that we do get organized, okay? And then get that saved in there. All right, that's it. That's all we got to do. That's 4 marks right there, just getting set up, okay? Now, remember, when we're doing things like small copy, right? Just be very aware, right? If we're, again, I'm doing this in Photoshop, we don't need to do this. We'll be putting all of our small copy in InDesign, okay? So we won't need to worry about it now, but I'm just saying, like, this is where we need to be really aware of our small copy, right? And just know that we're going to, and again, this is why we don't do small copy in Photoshop. Look at how awful that is. This is readable. This is 16 point. It's actually fairly large, but look at how shitty it is, right? And so this is where we want to be aware and understand why we don't do copy of this size in Photoshop and why it's not meant for that. So anyway, that being said, we're going to live by this. Now, what I would like to do to get us set up, there is, you'll notice, a bar. So before we go, there's a 3/4 inch bar from the bleed down to where we have the logo is going to be placed. Let's get that set up together. Why not? So 3/4 of an inch, right, is where we want to be from the bleed, which is right here. So we have that. Okay, so what we can do here all is I can grab this, and notice as I click, I'm using my ruler here, right? Notice as I start clicking and dragging down, notice how you have in your Y value. Isn't that cool that it comes up and gives you the actual dimension right there? And right when I hit the snap here to 0, it'll snap to 0, and I can just keep going. Woo. Now I know that it needs to be 0.75 is 3/4, isn't it? So what I'm going to do here all, and do this with me, let's go in. You can hold Shift down. Hey, cool. Shift will actually snap your guide as you move it. Isn't that neat? And that Shift button is so cool on so many levels and works in so many ways. But in this way, I'm going to let go, put it there at 0.75. Amazing. You're ready? So now we've got that in place. But what I want to do is have a box. I'm going to go in. We worked with our fill. Here's a box. Let's go in, and I'm just going to go here, drag, and see if this can't snap. Is that snapping? I don't know if it is or not. I think it should be good. Right? We might want to zoom in, spacebar command, make sure that we zoom in and we are in fact right on that 3/4 of an inch. Now, if you look at those covers for PS5 video game cover, have a look, right? PS5 covers, right? Video games, and you're going to get the machine here probably. There we go. So there we go. You will find, and when I did research on it, I found that there's a black line that they typically use right here that kind of runs through. It may actually be a blue line, to be totally honest with you. So have a look at that. I believe it's blue to kind of match the container. It's kind of a nice tie-in, isn't it? The blue line then matches the container. So let's do that. I'm going to go in, and I have a stroke right now on my object, right? Let's go here. I'm going to attach my layers back in here for a sec. Now, I have a black stroke and a white fill. You can find that up here as well. Okay, let's go and make this maybe a little thicker. I'm going to go to maybe a 2-pixel stroke. Well, there's 4 or 5 pixels, right? There we go. Isn't that interesting? It doesn't do it to the one on the top. That's all good. So we'll go here, and let's put our stroke at, where are we at here? 10 pixels? Okay, that looks good. Now let's change it from black and go with a blue for now. That's not a really good blue, is it? I'm gonna go here, and we want, it's a PS color blue, right? And I guess at the end of the day, you know what? We could almost go in and find, grab a blue from the cover. You ready? Let's do that. Check this out. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to, I love my screenshots, don't I? Command-Shift-4. Go here. I'm going to grab the blue from the case. There we go. See that? I just dragged and dropped right into Photoshop, okay? Now what I can do, everyone, is I can use this as my color. Look at how close that is, though. I'm actually pretty good. So don't need to do this. Just any blue is fine, but it's kind of neat that I can literally go in. Now what I can do is select on the rectangle, click here on my stroke, okay? Go here and click on this little color picker, and I can go in and just select. Ah, that's nice. And now look at that. I can even match it to my case, and I'll say, okay, there you go. And now I can toss that out. Don't need it anymore, right? So I'll go there and toss it out, okay? Good. So there you go, rectangle. Let's get that named. We'll just call this out as header. Good. All right, it's filled in white. We've got a blue stroke on it, which is great, right at that 0.3 3/4 mark, right? You may want to do a Command T, and I think I'm going to just bring this down ever so slightly to allow for the stroke. See how I want it to be right on that, and that way it just, I know it's a 10 pixel stroke, but it's all good. That's that. We're all set, all right. So the next thing about this is, remember, the bleed went all the way across. See that? Really important, right? So when it trims, we won't have, that's all good. Now, when we fill in, if you decide to fill in, you don't need to, it's not mandatory, but say you fill this in, whatever color you choose, or again, maybe you're not planning to use a full color or whatever it may be. But now when we go in and fill it, right, the background, you then have that ready to rock. So this will always be there, okay? Make sure your header is always on top until we get into InDesign, where we're going to put the PS5 logo in, and that's coming in the coming weeks, okay? Sound good? So maybe you want to start with a background. I don't know. Maybe yours is getting themed. You already have a kind of theme or a background that you color that would be a good starting point. There you go, right? Or not. It's up to you. I don't know. But I just wanted to point out that's the whole and core purpose of doing this header, that we then can start bringing images in as long as they're underneath, right? You're golden. Command S, let's get it saved one more time. All right, working, Batman. We're gonna go into the major, right? Video game case, Photoshop cover, working, and yes, this is working, and I have one in there already, and I'm gonna say save. Why the heck not? There we go, I've got mine in there, ready to rock. Okay, go on, grab some images, throw them into that folder properly. Okay, so go in, grab all of your imagery, get them all ready to rock and roll. Go into Photoshop cover. I have one called images to use. I've got these here. What do I even have here? I'm gonna click and see what we got. Right. I've got some guitars. So I'm gonna do like a Guitar Hero cover, right? And then I got this dude, and I got a guitar here and a guitar here, and there you go. There's my cover. Right? Not how we do it, right? We know we want to open our images up. And you guys are like, yeah, I know, Mitch. But that's the proper way of doing it. Okay, all. I hope it found you well. I hope we're getting some cool imagery. Go on Pixabay, Pexels, and Unsplash. If you want to do Google as a very last resort, because you just do not have what you need to match your GDF cover, I will allow it. Watch the walkthrough on the video game cover. I had some great questions that were called out that will help you as well. But aside from that, you are set. Okay, all. I will upload the video, have a watch through, get all set up, and just have some fun. All right. All the best, and take care of yourself. We'll see you in a week.